Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Can, and if I can, you can too. Today we're going to be talking about YouTube's new advertiser guidelines, or they call it advertiser friendly content guidelines. So I'm really excited to go ahead and get started here today. I don't necessarily know if I am streaming because I don't see it on my YouTube channel page. Oh, there we go. I don't necessarily. Alright, I don't know why that was a little bit delayed, but hello everyone. Thank you everyone who's joined me here today. We seem to be going live now. That's YouTube Live for you. But more importantly, welcome everyone. Hello everyone, I'm Andrew Can, and if I can, you can too. Today we're going to be going over the YouTube Advertiser Friendly Guidelines and also be talking about channels. I already have Marcel Harding Art in the queue because I noticed he left a super chat before the stream got started. So I just want to give everyone just a little bit of time to join the stream. Thank you everyone. And as a friendly reminder, this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy. In full disclosure, I work for TubeBuddy. So TubeBuddy is a browser extension that can help you do research and help you grow, and I'm going to be using it in a lot of the channel review segments we have going on later today. Marcel is the first in the queue, just as a heads up. Good morning, Beanie. Thank you for joining us here on the stream. We're going to dive right into the advertiser friendly guidelines because they're really interesting, especially when it comes time for what I have planned to do today. So I want to make sure the first thing we handle are those advertiser friendly guidelines because they're so important, especially if you are newer to YouTube and you don't know them. They've been updated for June, so if you're watching this in the future, these are the most up to date as they are now. So I just wanted to make sure that people know the most up-to-date information. It's important to know this because a lot of times YouTubers, myself included, have always felt we don't know what the rules are. So what do we do to prevent that? So I'm going to share my screen. Just wanted to see everyone here. E4 Electric says, see you at VidCon. Excited to see you as well. I'm going to share my screen. Nope, there goes my audio. Also known as Alex. There we go. So, all right, going to be transitioning to the screen in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So as you can see, updated June 2019. Welcome, Bill Campbell. Good to see you. Ike, I thought you would have been a mod in this chat. Interesting. Always learn something new. Well, I can fix that really quick. But basically, you can see the updated policies. You can see everything. Is there an echo, or was that just because of the accidental unmuting of the stream? Possibly. We'll figure this out. So basically you can see here that they updated June 2019. This article now includes more example of content that will receive limited or no ads. There are no policy changes, which means you should not expect any differences in how your videos are assessed for advertiser friendliness. Now, essentially what this means is they've finally given us more concrete examples of what's going to cause limited or no ads on YouTube. And again, a lot of times us as YouTubers have wanted to know things like this. So to have finally some sort of breakdown is very, very good. Because I've always wondered these things personally, and I'm sure you out there have wondered too. Have you ever wondered what is causing my videos to get demonetized? If so, let me know in the live stream or in the replay if you're watching. Because personally, this is something I've always been on the fence about, never really truly known. And to get these guidelines in such a concrete way is really good. So here we see again, you'll find in this article, what you'll find examples of content not suitable for ads and will result in limited or no ads monetization state. Here are all the main topics that are not advertiser friendly. So here are kind of the service level: inappropriate language, violence, adult content, harmful or dangerous acts, hateful content, incendiary and demanding, recreational drugs and drug related content, tobacco related content, firearms related content, controversial issues and sensitive events, adults, themes, and family content. So having verses in your title in the past would trigger it as a battle, says Beanie. Beanie says language is okay within reason. So I just wanted to say right now I'm going to be reading the guidelines, and then right after I read the guidelines, I'll give you my opinion. Feel free to disagree with me. And of course, remember, try to keep the discussion civil. These are what the rules are. There's not much I can do within the stream to change it, but you can always voice your opinions to YouTube wherever the correct social channels are. And I always encourage people, if you do not like something, reach out in a friendly manner and discuss it with the people that have made the changes. Again, the best way to have these kind of changes is by making sure you voice your opinion. So let's transition back. So right off the bat, we're going to go to inappropriate language. So this is content that contains frequent uses of strong profanity or vulgarity throughout the video and may not be suitable for advertising. Occasional use of profanity won't necessarily result in your video being unsuitable for advertising, but context matters. Right here, but context matters, right in YouTube's own wording is very interesting. They already make sure to put that right there. Welcome, David3000. Great to see you. Salim TV. Hi, Andrew. Before you read, do you think that the YPP would increase more than 1,000 and 4,000? Should I be consistent? So you're asking me, do I think the threshold of 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours could change? Possibly. Will it? I don't know. It's one of those things where I think right now YouTube's been pretty strong on that conviction for that, so I'm going to say that's probably going to stay there. So Spicy says hello, welcome. So first thing we're seeing is inappropriate language. So we always knew that this was a thing, and all of these examples say non-exhaustive. So right here, limited or no ads, profanity in the title or thumbnail image. I mean, I think that makes sense. Strong profanity used repeatedly in a hateful, derogatory way. Again, that makes sense. Strong profanity used during the beginning parts of the video. So this is where that's what the rule is. And so this is what I've always wondered. So if you watch Philip DeFranco, for example, he goes, hello, you beautiful bystanders. And if you watch his show, you'll know what that is. But that is actually something that could be causing those demonetization issues. So that is immediately strong profanity used during the beginning part of the video. That right there is a great example of what could possibly cause demonetization. And that's something we've never had a clear-cut answer on. I get why YouTube's doing it, but of course, if you want the most ad-friendly things, you can just do what you have to. Hello, Marcel. Great to see you again. Thank you so much for the second super chat. I do have you in the queue if you look over to the shared screen. So thank you so much for the super chat. Yep, good. They're reading it all out now. Was that article published recently? Beanie, yes. At the very top of this article, and the article will be in the description of this live stream, you can see updated June 2019. This article is super fresh. So that is something to kind of keep in mind. Welcome, Epic Cardboard Props. Great to see you here as well. So here's the thing. Strong profanity used during the beginning part of the video, at least it's laid out. I don't necessarily like that. And here's where we're getting even where I'll read it. Strong profanity used multiple times throughout your video, even if bleeped, for comedy, documentary, news, or educational purposes. That's where I start having a bit of issues. Obviously, they say limited or no ads. So I like one thing, which is a little more clear, and I believe this is what they're trying to say, is that there will be a change. If you have the limited ads, it's going to have a circle around it. I believe that's what they're trying to get here. And if you have no ads, there will be no circle. So limited ads is with the circle. No ads at all is here. Now, at least we're getting a clarification on the symbols. Again, I think maybe I've seen this in Twitter. I've seen it on my own Creator Studio dashboard. My thing is, now we have a clear clarification of limited or no ads, at least from my very understanding as it is written in this document. I like having the distinction that, hey, this video is getting no ads at all, or it's getting limited ads, but you're still getting ads. I think as a creator, that's something that is good. Obviously, no one wants to see either of these symbols, but to at least have a distinction between the two is something YouTube's been lacking. And no matter what I think about YouTube and making these changes, I can at least say they are taking the active measures to at least inform us. Do I agree with all of this? Absolutely not. Some of them I do, some of them I don't. This is one of those things where personally, I'm like, I understand strong profanity used multiple times throughout the video. Should, like, fair. But the even if bleeped, the bleeped is where I find interesting. The, like, news or documentary, in the news, right? Like, if it's a live stream of the news or something, even they have like a slow delay and they get a pass. Educational purposes, I'd be curious what they would count that as. Again, they're giving us more examples, but at the same time, classic YouTube still being kind of vague. So, next one is violence. And for violence, they put content containing gruesome, graphic, or disgusting accounts or imagery. So what they say is blood, guts, gore, sexual fluids, human or animal waste, crime scene, or accident photos. So again, with the vague nature of YouTube, I don't necessarily disagree with like sexual fluids, animal waste, crime scene, especially if it's like an active crime scene. It may not be the best thing to share out. So the blood thing, a little vague, right? Because I know channels like Corridor Digital or even like special effects heavy things where they show blood, like even within PG-13 standards, you're allowed to have it, right? So it just to have limited or no ads on those things are kind of interesting. I don't necessarily know if I agree with that, but some of them I think makes 100% sense. Beanie Draws says, ew, sexual fluids. Yeah, I don't disagree with limited or no ads to those. We have a whole different kind of tube for that. Now, as we continue, we see content depicting acts of violence. So we have accounts of images of shootings, explosions, bombing, execution videos, violent acts committed against animals. I'm fine with all of that. I say accounts or images of shootings, like this goes back to kind of with the news as well. It's like, what will news channels do? It's kind of it's one of those things where we'll have to see how the process evolves. Looking here, content depicting cruelty or gratuitous violence towards animals, fine. I have really no issue with that. Videos that contain graphic violence in the context of physical altercations, public demonstrations, or police brutality. So you can't monetize those videos which show graphic violence. The thing I would say, most of these conflict with news-based sources, right? Like part of the thing is to show those things just so people can see and understand the weight of a situation. Now, a lot of the bigger organizations have their own ads and they have their own things, but for like smaller independent creators, it's going to be where it really affects. Now, again, you could just get the limited. What I kind of wish they did a little bit better is distinguish like which one's a guaranteed no ads versus which one will likely get you limited. But again, even getting this information is great. I'm pretty happy for this. David 3000 is, can you make a video on how to upload a YouTube video longer than 15 minutes? So youtube.com/verify. You said you gave your phone number. They haven't given you a code. I'd keep re-entering that. That's the best way I could help you on that, David 3000. Other than that, that's pretty much what they've done. So looking here, raw footage of war casualties with graphic depictions of injury or death. I think that's fair. I think if a news organization or even a YouTuber was to show that, they should censor it to a certain degree. Gratuitous violence against children, even if only dramatized or fictional, super fair. So this one right here, hunting videos with a focal point in graphical violence, animal death, or suffering. So coming from a YouTube standpoint, I get that they don't want to see the actual shot and killing of the animal, at least from monetization standpoint. This isn't saying that you can't upload it, but it is saying that if you do upload it, expect limited or no ads. So for the hunters out there, feel free to give like your tips and stuff, but when it comes to like the grip and grin, YouTube is pretty much saying no. When it comes to showing the animal getting actually hunted, they're against it. And at least have that is something. I get if your channel is built around that, that might be where memberships might come more into your favor. And YouTube is pushing more with memberships. So we're seeing more information than we ever had before. So again, you don't have to like the changes. These are the changes. We at least have it. What will apply to nature videos like Croc versus Snake? Beanie, I'm going to assume that would go, that's kind of what we don't know, honestly. They're not really classic YouTube fashion. They're they're giving us more, but at the same time, it's still not enough. There's so many nuances, right? So I guess that would probably lead to limited or no ads, asking against like animal fighting naturally, right? Here we have adult content. So content that features highly sexualized theme and it's not suitable for advertising, with limited exceptions for graphic sexual education videos. Stating your comedic intent is not sufficient that the content may still be suitable for advertising. So basically, you can't pull the "it's a joke," which that's kind of where they're coming for that. Graphic sexual acts or simulations intended to arouse. So no graphical sexual acts, sexual explicit text or audio to include explicit conversations about sex. Content that may be interpreted as promoting a sexual act in exchange for compensation. So anyone that says leaking nudes at 1 million subs, direct answer to that. So monetization gone. Limited or no ads on that. I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea. Raw footage of explicit animal mating scenes. Okay. You learn something new every time you read a guideline, right? Nudity, people or representations of people that display sexual body parts such as visible genitalia, nipples, or buttocks. YouTube is anti-butt, anti-nipple, and anti-genitalia, but we kind of already knew that. Content focused on sexual body parts that are blurred or censored. So I guess the argument would then be focused. If it happens in the video, you could make the argument that it wasn't the focus of the video. Body art with a focus on nudity or intimate body parts. Again, getting more information on that is good. So you can show body art, but if it's on a heavy focus of nudity or intimate body parts, you're going to get limited or no ads. Again, so we're getting a little bit of clarity. Happy to see some of it. Some of it I think makes sense. So I'm curious what your thoughts are and if there's been anything you've seen that's made you go, really? So let me know in the live stream as I'm kind of just going through this. And if you've seen this in the replay, please. Ike says male nipples, gross. Absolutely. Equality right there. Content featuring implied sexual acts, content depicting fetishes and action or discussing fetishes. That's one of those things where depicting fetishes and action, right? Like, that's interesting. Discussing fetishes, I guess there's a time and a place is what they're saying. Content about sex scandals or leaking private intimate photos or videos. I don't think you should join these two together. I think they're two separate issues. Like content about sex scandals, that's one thing, and then leaking someone's private intimate photos or videos, that's a completely separate bullet point in my opinion. Why they leak these two together, I don't know. So content related to the sex industry, including sex-related entertainment. So no porn, makes sense. Content featuring sex toys, sexual devices, or other products intended to enhance sexual activity. Super fair. They don't want this. I think that's fair. Content providing advice on sexual performance or recounting stories around performance. So any video that's like, let me tell you a time, my first time video, stuff like that, that's going to start getting demonetized. Beanie Draw says not all fetishes are about sex, so I guess corsets are no longer allowed. Again, it's that middle ground which they're not saying. Marcel Harding Art brings up a great point. What about book reviews on famous painters? They did a lot of nudes, which is fair. I'm wondering because I do book reviews on famous painters. Super fair, Marcel Harding Art. That's kind of where that line is blurry, right? They do mention in the adult content, right? Content features highly sexualized themes. You could argue that it's not. And it says for non-graphic sexual educational videos. Well, it's just an educational video at that point, Marcel. So that's where we're at. Harmful or dangerous acts. So the thing I noticed immediately, inappropriate pranks, challenges, dares, and stunts. YouTube immediately targeting a specific subsection of YouTubers. Modern day Texas, so more popping zit video? The guidelines are too explicit, says Paul. So pranks related to suicide, death, terrorism, absolutely, I don't think this should be allowed for monetization at least. Like if you're going to prank someone about any of these things, that's a serious thing. Unwanted acts such as forced kissing, sexual abuse will not be tolerated by YouTube. Limited or no ads, makes sense. showing physical harm or distress but is not the focus of the video. This guideline applies to acts performed in non-professional, non-controlled environments. So a video that shows physical harm or distress but is not the focus of the video. That's where you could get challenges, dares, stunts. I mean, I get they're doing this for those extreme examples. We'll have to see how they handle it, if this will get you limited or no ads. So that's something we're going to have to see with time. Content that induces prolonged emotional distress of a minor. I don't disagree with this. I think that if the main purpose of the content is to show emotional distress of a child, you should expect limited or no ads. Invasive medical procedures, including cosmetic. So body modifications and medical. So you can't show your invasive medical procedure, including cosmetic surgery. Pimple popping or ingrown toenail removal is limited or no ad. So to go exactly what you were saying, modern day tech, yes, no more poppings in videos. I feel like Dr. Pimple Popper, the YouTuber, will have some problems with this. And this is where you're going to have to find other ways to monetize, right? So skin implant procedures, tongue forking surgery. Never heard of that, but even I'm learning new things. Ike says, so no more Daddy of 5. Wait, they're already over. So content that threatens or advocates for physical, mental harm of oneself or others, threatening someone with real life harm, calling for the attack of another person. Fair. Content related to suicide, eating disorders, bullying or harassment, or other forms of abuse and self-harm. Depends, and this is where they even said context matters, so we'll see how much YouTube holds up on that. Content that promotes the use of weapons to inflict, again, makes sense. Content related to cannibalism, again, makes sense. Dangerous acts not to be imitated. Content showing the consumption of substance in such quantities that result in a toxic reaction. That's fair. Failure complications that include graphic harm, injury. Fair. Subway or underground surfing. Fair. Roof-topping. The thing is, dangerous acts not to be imitated. It makes you wonder, right? Like parkour channels arguably are doing dangerous acts. They're not to be imitated. Other challenge-based content which represent that may result harm, like fire challenge, kiki challenge, bird. Wow, so they're just straight up saying, listing, so fire challenge, kiki challenge, and bird box challenge, limited or no ads. At least we have something here. Promoting or advocating for harmful health or medical claims. All right, anti-vaccination or AIDS denialist movements makes sense. YouTube doesn't want to be associated with it. No ads, limited to no ads. Non-medical treatments that promise to cure untreatable diseases. YouTube's not going to be held responsible for people saying something does something that doesn't. Content which implies serious medical conditions does not exist or are okay, so basically denying like an actual disease. There are some people who deny cancer exists, so I guess that's what YouTube is more so trying to target with that. On the promoting or advocating for harmful health or medical claims, I get most of those. Modern day tech says flat earth. That is going to be, though this says medical, not necessarily, so that may not count. The next one is hateful content. Content that incites hatred against, promotes discrimination, disparages, or humiliates an individual of people based on the following is not suitable. So you can't discriminate based on race, ethnicity or ethnic origin, nationality, religion, disability, age, veteran status, sexual orientation, gender identity, any other characteristic associated with systemic discrimination or marginalization. Vague. This is YouTube's like, if you have a disagreement with these rules, we have the right to enforce these. Now, YouTube is making a pretty strong stance against prank channels, Marcel, just kind of going, a lot of channels are prank channels, not mine, of course, but I'm sure they're just having fun. Again, what YouTube is essentially saying, you're allowed to have your fun, but don't expect monetization. So, more examples here. Content that incites hatred against, promotes discrimination, disparages, humiliates. Content promoting, glorifying, or condoning violence against others, makes sense. Content that encourages others to believe that a person or a group is inhuman, inferior, or worth being hated also makes sense. Content promoting hate groups or hate group paraphernalia. I know exactly what this is about, and if you've been around YouTube in 2019, you might know what this is for. Content made by or in support of terrorist groups. super fair not to allow this. Content that promotes terrorist acts, again, celebrates terrorists, again, limited or no ads, makes super sense. So incendiary and demeaning content that is gratuitously incendiary, inflammatory, or demeaning may not be suitable for advertising. So content that focuses on shaming or insulting an individual or group. So my question is, you could argue, right? Content that focuses on shaming or insulting an individual or group. Is YouTube anti-cancel culture? Because that argument is made both sides. I like how, again, YouTube, when you give us those specific examples and the others, I need to see that level of consistency all the way through. But we have some ideas a lot better than before. Kate says, woot woot, it's been ages since I made it to a live. Kate, welcome. Great to see you again. Good to see you posting again. Transitioning back. So this is going to be where some people have some issues. More specifically, recreational drugs and drug-related content. Sale of illegal. I've seen people say YouTube is anti-drug. Their main thing I'm seeing is illegal drugs. But then they have regulated drugs. So content that promotes or features the following that is not suitable. So sales of illegal drugs, regulated drugs, or substances or other dangerous products. Use of illegal drugs, regulated. So abuse. So you can't show selling, you can't show using, you can't show abuse of these. And then they promoting substances that are otherwise induce highs. So here we have it. Any channel about this, limited or no ads. You can't promote the following products, limited or no ads. Exchanging tips or recommendations of drug use, limited or no ads. So again, the argument is made that you can post this content, you just can't advertise it. So what I would say is, if you want to create this kind of content, I don't necessarily have issues with regulated drugs. Of course, if it's a legal drug, you can have your own opinion. My main thing is, you're allowed to put the content on the site, but don't expect advertising, is what they're saying. Limited or no ads is going to be the result. Now, this isn't like a pass to go ahead and upload this. This is just YouTube saying this is a result. And always make sure it follows their community guidelines, which are also listed in this article. If you are unsure, check it yourself. Transition. Apart from the ad changes, we also have Article 13, which applies from the next month, if I am correct. 3D plastic, I believe it's changed to Article 17, then 14 from my understanding. So right here, tobacco-related content promoting tobacco, cigarettes, cigar, chewing tobacco. You're not allowed to do it. Tobacco pipes, rolling papers, vape pens, no. Promoting products designed to simulate tobacco smoking. So all of this, not allowed. Firearm-related content. This is where I've seen the most controversy here. And if you're at least stateside, obviously I know I have a global audience and YouTube is a global platform. So a little bit of context I feel is important. I lived in the South for a majority of my life. I have shot firearms before. I have worked on a TV show, in full disclosure, about firearm safety. So that being said, here are the firearms related content rules. Content focused on the sale, assembly, abuse, or misuse of firearms is not suitable for advertising. Now, the main argument you could make is that by YouTube limiting or not allowing ads on this content, it's essentially causing creators to not be able to put that content on YouTube and make money. To a point, that is true. That is where I would say, if you're that kind of channel, focusing on memberships, focusing on affiliate sales, all of that is going to be more important than ever for you. If it's only within the limited or no ads, if they make the change to that content's not allowed at all on YouTube, we'll see more changes. Here's what we're going into here. So, category, promoting the sale of a firearm. So you can't show a sale of a firearm, you can't show the sale of a firearm related part or component that is essential to or enhances, including, so you can't show 80% finished gun parts, ammunition, ammunition clips, silencers, ammunition belts, stocks, conversion kits, gun grips, scopes, sights. Promotional content for gun stores, not allowed, which, or at least you can't make money on it, so you can do it, but you're not going to be making money, or if you are, it's going to be limited or no. Manufacturers or discount codes for gun stores, again, that'll mean limited or no ads. Instructions about assembly of any firearm, including parts, components, therefore, firearm making instruction guide, software, or equipment for 3D printing gun parts. That's where if you are an enthusiast or a hobbyist about something, that channel is not going to be making profit on that. So you're probably going to naturally see, of course, you always hope there are people that are doing it. That for if you were making gun tutorials and stuff like that, that's going to be limited or no ads according to the new guidelines. We have them. That's something to think. Beanie Draw says if you want to advertise your guns, use Google Ads. Not even discount codes, says Kate. Wow, that's exhaustive. Apparently there was a dislike and it disappeared. Again, I understand if people disagree with the stuff we are showing. Let's keep going. Content where firearms are discharged in unsafe. This is about the only one I agree with. Abuse or misuse of a firearm makes complete sense. The others, that's limited or no ads. Hopefully it goes more to limited, because I get why not all advertisers would want to be this. Again, what we'll see more with these changes is how much gives actually just no ads. Because again, limited as the symbol was before this change, we understood it as you get that limited symbol, no ads at all. Most people assumed it that way. Knowing there are two symbols now and one means no ads at all, I'm going to be curious to see what's going to be the discrepancy. So that's what we'll have to see with time. Promoting the sale isn't that big of a deal. Doesn't focus on gun testing and gun comparisons. Matt Guzman says the YT videos longer than 15 minutes should be instant when you provide a phone. They usually are, and if you're not getting a text, I would reach out to YouTube on Twitter. I'd reach out to a lot of their help-based stuff. As we transition, controversial and sensitive events, war, death, and tragedies. News-related channels report on this stuff, so that's the problem I have with it. Content that the feature focuses on sensitive topic or events is generally not suitable for ad. The policy applies even if the content is purely commentary or contains no graphic imagery. So just even talking about it can get you limited or no ads. That's where I have a massive problem. YouTube talked about context earlier. What? There seems to be like no context here. Same with controversial issues like political conflicts. I get it. Terrorism or extreme. Again, most of these are talked about in news-based channels. So anyone giving commentary on that is super confusing. And then Inspire John says like WW2 topics or Civil War. That's the problem. So if I mention WW2 event, I can get demonetized. Essentially, so here's the thing. We're going to have to stop saying demonetization in the way we knew it, right? Because with limited, now we have limited there's two symbols. One means limited monetization. One just means demonetization entirely. The middle ground is limited monetization, but more likely demonetization now as we know it. Get used to seeing this symbol right here, no circle. That means no ads. Now, unless they change their mind after the stream, in which case I would then update it. But from the current understanding, limited or no ads, right here. So modern day tech, does limited ads also mean limited suggested video? No, because even if you don't advertise a channel, even if you have no monetization, YouTube still suggests. My thing would be, if it is covering these sensitive things, with no ads, probably. Limited, probably not. No ads, I'm going to probably say, and again, this is not fact, it is not proven. It is one of those things where if you're getting no ads, I'm not sure how YouTube is going to handle it. My best inquiry is that they're not going to suggest it. Limited, however, I have videos that have limited because I do gameplay on my gaming channel and it's still suggested. So I'm going to say no ads at all. Probably going to get suppressed, though I can't speak for certain. We're going to have to see with time. So as we transition back, adult themes and family content, ElsaGate pretty much. I think if you have adult themes and family content, it should be expected for limited or no ads. You shouldn't show any of these in family content. I'm not super against this. I think it makes sense. So if you think this is helpful, and this is where you can vote, say yes or say no. I think it's helpful to have some examples. If you put no, I'll try refreshing and see if that gives us more options. But essentially, we have the guidelines. We've asked for them all the time. We finally have some. They're a little more concrete than they were before. So if we hit no, this is what you need to do. If you don't agree with this, if you think these are change, how can they improve? The more people that do this, that update this, that's what's going to cause change. That's what I've seen time and time again. So if you want to make change on that, that's going to be your best bet. Now, I do like how they also have the partner program policies. If we transition back, like they also have these. So you can see these at a time. We can see content examples. So they finally give you this too. So if you don't want to see the whole thing. So this self-rate your content. This is actually really helpful. And again, this is all on the side of this. So there's a lot here. And this is where you, if you're unsure, I'd say come here. So this, you can turn ads for this. Analysis or opinion around serious and topical events not described below. You should turn off ads if you discuss recent acts of terror, events resulting in catastrophic loss of human life, or controversial social. You can turn on ads for other depictions of firearms not described below. So again, this is telling you what you can and can't do. If you reference a marginalized group in a non-hurtful or comedic way, context. So you can turn on it when you can't. You should turn off and you can. I like this one a little bit more, and I think the problem I have with the advertiser-friendly content guidelines is that this should be on that same page. It is a stepping stone. I do agree with you, modern day tech. It's a stepping stone. And again, we asked for it all this time. We finally got something. So for what we got, let's praise that little win. The more info we get as creators, the better it is. Anytime we are given more decision-making power, it is a win. So for that, let me know your thoughts on all of this. Again, the links are in the description of this live stream if you want to follow along or read on your own time. Thank you, everyone. I've seen we are getting 22. Let's get into the channel review portion of this live stream. Thank you all for joining me as we read through these guidelines. If you want a channel review, that is where we are open now. Marcel, you are the first person. You have left 2 super chats, so thank you so much for that. Super chats always take the priority. That is kind of how it goes. Welcome, Launchpad Astronomy. You have missed the reviewing of the advertiser-friendly content examples and guidelines, but the links are in the description. We're going to go ahead and start with Marcel Harding Art YouTube. So why don't we go ahead and Ike says, channel reviews, I'm out of here. Runs away. So let's transition. So as we look here, I think we are zoomed in. If not, let's quickly zoom in so it's more readily available. And I'm going to transition because I know there are people out there who do not like that I'm not in dark mode. So let me get into dark mode for those people. Doing my best to help those. So if you like dark mode, let me know. I don't mind light mode at all, but I understand the people that don't like it. Okay, so here is Marcel Harding Art channel. So the first thing I notice, you say Marcel Harding artist. This artist is actually kind of hard to read with the oil painting-esque background you have here. One thing I noticed, and I thought that, I can't tell if this is pixelated or if it's just a close-up of an oil painting, but I'm seeing that this is kind of pixelated in the side here. I would say that having this here isn't recommended because you kind of already have it here. And since you have your art website, I feel like that might be more important for you. I want to go ahead and cancel that. So that'd be my main thing there. I see that you have TubeBuddy, the famous 5. I do appreciate you putting TubeBuddy there. just kind of looking here, I would maybe put something here. And I'd also say, when do you upload videos? What about? Do you teach people your art techniques? Do you teach, and you said you do art reviews. If I don't know what you're about, I could not get it from just this simple image. So that's when you have to think about it. People are saying they like dark mode. Looking here, I see you have an uploads thing. I think you're just using the default YouTube uploads. YouTube is actually starting to try to push these more, but they still don't come up in search as much. So they show up under new, but they don't necessarily show in other ways. So that's something to keep in mind. I do like your best painting tutorials, but best what kind of painting, what style of painting? The more info you can give us, the better. So I'm still kind of left unsure of what kind of style of painting. And I see that you're displaying it vertically. I'd recommend doing horizontally so you can see more of your content instead of as it is. Like, I think your best painting tips is a little bit more general, and I think that could go above this, and you should also feature this in this horizontal way as well. So I see that you have your painting tips. My main problem is I see that the text is kind of hard to read, and I would actually maybe, instead of having this space up here, and again, check your click-through rate or CTR, I would say maybe check that out yourself. I really like the different like thumbnails here. They show me kind of the image, what to expect. You might want to try intrigue and seeing like what people think with not getting to see the whole image. Again, check that click-through rate, see when people are actually clicking through. And one thing I find time and time again that most channels do is that they describe their channel really well in the about section, which sure enough you do, right? You're an artist focused on acrylic painting, painting tutorials, and painting tips. I would have never got that from your banner, and I have to come to the about section, which most people don't even make their way to. I'd get rid of some of those social links in the channel banner, and if you're trying to grow your YouTube channel, keep visitors on the platform. It says Paul Peck, which is great advice. Looking here, I make new art videos every week. I will be showing you how to paint still life, landscapes, wildlife, and much more. Again, all of this that you're using to describe your channel is hidden and could be up here. And for you, since you're an artist, maybe try showcasing different styles of art in your banner. I do think this is a pretty nice background though, just for like in the art world. So I think that makes sense. So on that front, I see what you're doing. But again, a lot of this information should be more present here. Another thing is I'm a little confused by your profile picture, so maybe a little more context there. Sorry if we went radio silent. I had to sneeze. I thought that'd be a little better. Nervous laugh. Hey, what an amateur. Who would do that? No offense. Your stuff looks great, says Harry Guy Sketches. But that's just some of the things I'm seeing immediately that jumps out at me. Again, this is just at a first glance channel. One thing I'd be curious of is your channel tags. So as we can see here, art tutorials, acrylic painting, still life painting, landscape painting, wildlife painting. It's a good idea to put your playlist titles as channel tags. I see you have your channel name in your channel tags, which is good. You should also put your channel name here, which you have. That's perfect. But again, all of that stuff, you need to be putting all of those, like book reviews on famous painters. If that's a playlist, that should be featured here. And again, of course, try making your own Marcel Harding art recent uploads and then popular uploads for search. And all of these things are good. Kate says, bless you, thank you. She also gave emojis for Marcel's banner. Pretty fair. Overall, though, I think you're doing a good amount right. Like, just from a surface level, you have custom thumbnails, you have decent viewers. Again, what I'm finding is, and this is being more and more true, YouTube has said, if you can get 25%, and again, if you're curious of this info, I can go ahead and show you. So why don't we transition on back so I don't disclose sensitive information. Gotta love it, right? So basically what we're going to be doing is I'm going to show you where you can find, this goes into the YouTube Studio Beta, where you can find how many people have checked and clicked that notification bell for you, because that's super important, right? So as we go ahead back, as we zoom in, So on average, right, subscribers who turn on all notification is 10 to 30%, and then subscribers turn on for your channel. So and enabled YouTube is 5 to 20. So you're gonna get about 30%. Like, and if you want to know where to go, you go to analytics, build an audience, and then you go to subscriber bell notifications. So if we're going on 20% of your 10 to 30% of whatever your sub count is your view count, or is at least clicking through, that's kind of good information to know because we didn't know it before. Again, I'm loving that YouTube is giving us more information now than ever, and it helps me as a creator make better decisions. And anytime I can create a better decision, that's kind of what I like to see. Coming back here, if I were to give you a grade, I'd say you're doing a lot right. There's a lot hidden. So I'm going to give you a pretty passing C+. Again, to get it higher, just make those small changes. And I hope you come back, Marcel, because your channel is really good. I've watched a few of your videos because I know you're active in the TubeBuddy Discord. Just make those changes, make it super digestible and understandable for your audience, because that is going to be where you want to make sure that clarity comes through. So Marcel, C+, let him know your own grade either in the live chat or the replay. We always appreciate seeing other people's opinions. Paul Peck says, I love the analytics part. Absolutely. For me, knowing that about 30% of whatever your sub count is probably going to follow through based on just the averages on YouTube. Take whatever your sub count is, 30%. Are you averaging that on your videos? Yes or no? If not, then maybe we need to make a change. But again, they give you those two different averages, right? Like 10 to blank. So that's something we can do. So I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but the first person I see is XAVII. Again, super chats always take priority. I see XAVII. So I will be pulling that up now. So, all right, we are going to transition on. And if you have left a request for review, I will be looking at the chat again in a little bit. So that's something to know. All right, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. As someone who doesn't know what your channel is about, I am very confused. I don't immediately recognize whatever game this is. I see that it's Ark. So my first thing is, I see your channel name. That's great, but I can read it, right? So what is the content you're creating? What is the content? When is the content? Why should I subscribe to you? So who, what, when, where, and why need to be answered in your banner, and it's not being answered here. I know who, but I don't know the other four. So that's the first thing I'm seeing, right? And my thing is, I don't have a lot of information. You might be hiding it in the about section. How's it going? Zav, I'm doing Let's Plays and other games. Again, all of that information I should be seeing here is hidden in your about. So I need to see it up here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Kate. How is your name pronounced? My guess is Zavi. That's what I'm going for. Zav2 says 30-day reviews. So that's something to think about. Kathy Fit, if you want to tell TubeBuddy to do that, mobile@tubebuddy.com. Email him. I'm not the person to go to. It means more from you than it does from me. So, looking more at this channel at hand. Again, most of it is hidden. All content on this channel is available for public use. That isn't available for public use. Any content used without permission will be copyrighted by YouTube's terms and conditions. Fair warning, I guess. Interesting. Looking here, you're taking people a lot off platform. YouTube isn't necessarily for that. I do see a donation page. I'd recommend fixing that. It's probably an HTTPS issue, so try deleting the S or adding one, and that can fix that. Looking at the home here, your channel trailer is early game PvP starting out on MTS. I'm not sure how searchable early game PvP is. I might add early game PvP Ark Survival would probably be more searchable. Your thumbnails aren't bad at all. The one thing I'm liking is that you have good names for your playlist, but I'm lacking descriptions here. playlist descriptions are like video descriptions. YouTube uses them for relevancy within the search. So I'm not seeing any of these having playlist descriptions. So if you want to know how you can do a playlist description, you just go to your playlist page. We can just click edit the playlist and you hit edit again, and bam, you can just quickly edit your playlist description. It gives you more info, and it's just a quick way you can help YouTube have more data to, if people are looking for like long form content of this, you can push it yourself. So anytime you can do that, that's good. Ike says thumbnails are looking good, although it does remind me of every other gaming thumbnail, and I can't differentiate which channel is which. That is a good point. You have the X in this unique way. I might find a way. Oh, wait, here it is, Ike. The problem is it's being cut off by the timestamp. So my main thing is if you're going to do that, I would allocate it for this side more so where it is, because it's so hidden. And like, especially on this screen here, it doesn't stand out at all. Maybe a color difference could really do you very well. But I do like the thumbnails. I'm curious of their click-through rate, but I can't easily identify these as your own. And I notice that some of these have it and some of them don't. If you're not already using TubeBuddy's bulk thumbnail overlay and you want to go back to and add this to the ones that don't have it, it's really important that you add those things. So overall, I like your thumbnail art. I don't like your channel banner art, and I think that's something you need to improve on. CTR is around 12%. I would then ask how many impressions you're getting, but 12% CTR in general is great. Again, 2 to 10% is average, so you're above average. Harry Guy Sketches says, I do think you need to elicit more emotion, like give an example of early game gear, such as a sniper, weapon, or whatever. I don't know arc, but you get the idea, says Harry Guy Sketches. I don't think that's bad feedback. Thumbnails look awesome. You could have different color X logo for thumbnails with different background color. That's true. So like you have different kind of playlists, right? So maybe your Survival Evolved Solo has a different X than the Gentleman's Arc, and then the Evolve guides have a different X with a background color, and that way your core audience who recognizes the X can automatically know, oh, that's what this X means. That way you're helping them. So overall, I think you have a really like strong understanding. I just need to see those like playlist descriptions. I'm also curious how searchable these playlists are, because playlists are also going to be showing up in search. So like Arc Survival guides and build, maybe be more specific. Again, the more specific you can get, the better you have a chance at. I also see Fun Size Nomad, who I recognize. So check out these channels. That's cool to see him there. Overall, I would give this channel probably a B-. Again, you're really lacking in this part here. And again, I see there are good art, so I want this art to kind of mirror that. And then again, it's lack of descriptions and lack of just describing. Kate says, I like the font. It catches my eye, which is fair. I think it catches my eye very well too. Savvy says, yeah, Ike, I was thinking about that, but was wondering about using the same style for the channel to prompt knowing where the line. Matt Guzman says, you have nice thumbs. And again, I do not disagree. So overall, B-. Let them know what your grade is in the chat. Again, what I see, and this is a common thing I see when I'm doing reviews, is that there are not enough information within the banner, which more people are going to see than you're about. So remember, when it comes to your banner, ask yourself this: does your banner answer who is creating the content? What is the content about? When do they upload the content? How will this help me? Why should I care? All of those things are super important, especially just in that image. So that's what I'd say. Paul Peck says maybe a photo of you in the profile picture. That's not a bad idea. Or the game character you play the most as, or the game character against the X. Obviously, I don't know Arc well enough to give you that super specific. Yes, thumbs have been what I've been focusing on, and will definitely need to relook on the banner. And again, when you have such good thumbnails and your banner isn't as good quality comparatively, it sticks out. So I think you have a good channel. You have 234 subscribers. If you had 234 people in front of you watching you right now, I think most people would be so overwhelmed. That's a lot of people. So that's a great thing to have, and keep growing. And again, the thing I'm seeing is you're getting good views. but maybe the conversion's the hard part. So find out those things, and whatever's getting you views, do more of. So that's what I'd say there. All right, if you are looking for a channel review, now is the time to post it in. Again, super chats always take the priority, like Marcel, who left 2 super chats earlier. That's why Marcel was first to the queue. Always have to disclose that because people are like, hey, why did he go before me? Free super chats are always after the free reviews are always after the super chat reviews. So, reading here, I'm going to watch this as a rerun many times to get it in my thick head to improve my channel, says Marcel Hardingart. So I see immediately from Black Recruit is the first who asked. So, Zavi, we still don't know how to pronounce your channel name. Is it? I'm hoping Zavi is correct. So I see from Black Recruit is the first person who asked for a channel review when I said the time is to go and get one. So, looking here. Transitioning back. All right, first thing, I'm seeing Battlefield 5, The Crew 2, Beta. I'm not seeing a lot of information. I'm seeing a lot of older uploads, so I'm assuming you might be starting again. With that, the who, what, when, where, and why is super important. I don't have a lot of information here. I'd recommend setting up a channel trailer. I'd recommend putting something more accurate to your gameplay up here. So for that, that's what I'd say there. For your about, there isn't one, so it's hard to know even what your channel is about. So because there's a real lack of stuff here, I'm gonna have to give this an NA for a channel review because I don't have enough information of what your channel is about. So what I'd recommend, Black Recruit, is changing some of these things up and making sure that it's a little bit more clear of what you're looking for. So for now, it's going to be a non-applicable for channel review because I don't have enough information to give it a thorough review there. So hopefully you understand. So the next thing I'm going to say is if you'd like a channel review. Barry guys got just nervous laugh. Who takes a break that long, right? Oh man, that's how my gaming channel audience probably feels. I do not give them the time they deserve. They give me a lot of love and praise, and I need to work on getting better at that. Ike says that I take a 2 to 3 month break every year now. So if you are interested in a channel review, the time is now. So David 3000 says, can I have one? Yes. So David 3000, you are in the queue. If you'd like a channel review, please make sure to put I'd like a channel review because other times it's a little confusing. Because I can't tell if you're talking about the conversation or what. But here we are. So for David 3000, the first thing I would say is I have not a lot of information of what to expect from your channel. I see a cityscape. So maybe that has something to do with where you're from. But besides that, I don't have any of the who, what, when, where, why, how. Looking here, I see uploads. They seem to be game show gaming on PC. So I'm assuming you're doing game show stuff, but I wouldn't necessarily have gotten that at all from here. Maybe you have more in your about page. So I'm David 1000. I do a few game show games, live streams. So you have your rules, you have all this, you have all this information, but here's the thing. This information needs to be here more so than the about page. Because again, most people don't make it to the about. And if I looked here and saw this, I'd probably click away because I couldn't easily tell what your channel's about. I'd recommend adding a channel trailer. I'd recommend maybe not promoting to other socials if you're trying to grow your YouTube, because this takes people off platform, and at your size, you want to try to keep people watching your content. So instead of maybe putting your Twitch, maybe put a playlist link. And speaking of playlists, I'd like to see some. You may have playlists, but they're not featured. I see you have a playlist, but I'm not seeing them featured on the homepage of your YouTube channel. So it makes it harder to know what you do really. I see from David 3000, YouTube won't let me post a custom one. a custom trailer. I try to make one in PowerPoint, but YouTube won't let me. I will make a trailer. I'm not sure what you're referencing, so that's hard for me to go on. Looking at your channelytics through TubeBuddy. If I clear this, if I look at channelytics, I want to see some more channel tags, or any really. I'd recommend putting your channel name, putting the games you're playing, putting the playlist, stuff like that. So again, a lot of information is missing. I see that you may have started a little more recently from what I'm seeing here. So again, if you started recently, there's nothing wrong with that. I would just say I recommend the horizontal over vertical. I need more info, essentially, and most people are going to need more info too. So based on that and based on what I'm seeing, like, you're clearly creating content, you're very new, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'd probably give this a D+ because there's not enough information. A D+ is passing, but barely, and I definitely know you could increase that grade. So what I'd recommend is like putting who, what, when, where, and why in your channel banner. Making playlists based on the types of games you make. I mean, you have a schedule, but there's not one here. And again, first impressions are important. So like all these different videos you do could be playlists. So I'd like to see those. I'd like to see them more easily laid out. And again, that's what we're lacking here. So that is what I'd say here. Overall, I can tell that you're newer to the platform, and that's fine. It's just keeping and growing. Like June 20th, you're a week in. You're at 39 subscribers. That's not bad. Just keep on that level and make sure you're not bringing YouTube term of service. Don't do sub for sub. Don't do any of those things. Make sure you're doing the right stuff. Focus on search. Focus on making those things easy for an audience. So with that, let him know your own channel reviews in the link in the live stream replay or wherever. I give it a D-. I'd like to see more, but for a week in, that's not bad. Looking here, Max says I had to expand mine using Paint. Use the tools you have. There's Canva, there's the TubeBuddy thumbnail generator. There are a lot of, there's GIMP, there's .png, there's Paint.net. There are so many free softwares out there that can do so many things. If you need a free video editor, there's DaVinci Resolve if your computer can run it. There's Adobe Rush. There are so many things out there. So it's things you can use and for yourself to get what you want, the result you want. Because the audience doesn't know you plan to improve your channel. They just know that your channel needs improving. So if you're interested in a channel review, now is the time to ask. Again, super chat ones always take priority. Marcel Harding Art says, I use Canva. Again, so many options out there. But I always try to do what works for me. I have the Adobe Creative Suite. I have used it since college, so it's one of those things. David 3000 says, I will try to make a channel banner in Photoshop. Thanks for the review. Kathy Fit is asking for a review. Kathy Fit, if you do not know, is an amazing artist, but this is her fitness channel, which I have seen. So transition back. Looking here, speaking of that arts channel right here, Kathy Fits, mommy vlogs, dance, fitness recipes. So this is what I'm telling you. The who, Kathy Fit. The what, dance, fitness, recipes. I don't see the when, which I can see new schedule coming soon. So that's being worked on again. Instead of coming soon, viewers would like to at least know a little more. I get that life's busy. How? I'm going to say this is the how. And then the main thing is why you? Why should I subscribe? Like, what's the value I get from an artist as from the watcher? So I see some photos. I see, the actual like fitness thing. So I get that. I like the little heartbeat. I like the camera. There's like a lot of Easter eggs here. I see uploads. I see different tests. I think you're probably coming back into this. I see playlists like Lift 4. This playlist is focusing on a new program I'm doing from Beachbody to build lean muscle and lose weight. Fair. I would then include that Lift 4. The Lift 4 playlist focuses on a new program, maybe Lift 4. And then K-pop dance cover solo. These are my dance covers, mainly K-pop, some hip-hop, jazz, funks. So the thing is, dance, fitness, recipes, vlogs, it's all within the similar niche, but what I would recommend, or niche, depending on how you say it, is I'd recommend is seeing what's performing the best for you, specifically, out of these things, and do more of that. And you can always go sort by most popular and kind of create more to that, right? So like 10 tips to motivate yourself, and Lift for week 8, like these things, like the result stuff, your meal stuff, this is what does well, right? Like this is all the stuff that I would recommend kind of focusing on. Now, obviously, some of this is older, but if the 7 months ago, the 11 months ago, these aren't that bad. They're not that old. Even the 1 year ago isn't that old. So all these things are things you can think about. And I do like that you're in the thumbnail. I like that I can tell the Lift 4 is based on it. I like seeing the differences within it. But again, more things like that. If I look in your about, Kathy Fit is focusing on living the best mommy life through healthy eating and fitness dancing. Even if you put like right here, living the best mommy life through healthy eating, like that should be the, like, we know what you're doing, but that should be the better one. The how or the why you can come from your about too. Because you have it, but it's again hidden in the about. Don't hide it in the about. Didn't mean to click full screen there. So that's be my thing here. I'd recommend getting the schedule now, sooner rather than later. I see Salem TV. Thanks, Andrew, for TubeBuddy license playlist. It has helped. Although I am worried about my thumbnail, the text too much. What about my simple banner? I do book summaries. Salem, when I ask for channel reviews, I will take a look if you put yours there. Kathy Fit says, my channel is slowly changing to help mamas. Then again, mommies are your ideal audience. If you're focused on living the best mommy life through healthy eating and all of this is about mommy, being a mommy. So that makes sense. So as we keep going here, what I'd say is, defining your value prop and making sure that it works. I'd say all of this does do that. Hello, Fun Size Nomad. I actually praised you a little bit earlier. So with that, I would say it's a pretty strong channel. Like, you have an understanding. There's some stuff hidden. There's some stuff I'd be curious about, like your click-through rate. You have descriptions. You have good technique. I would just say focus more on what does well for you. And right now, if you're ever wondering what's performing well, at least in the YouTube side, you can always go to your most popular videos and kind of see, is that lining up? If not, then that's where you're going to need to make that call, because otherwise it becomes confusing and it may not be. You're going to have to watch the replay, Fun Size Nomad. Like, if these aren't lining up with where you want to take your channel, it might be time to just start a new channel. Or you can just private these videos and start fresh that way, because you're still under the 1,000 threshold. But again, you have to remember that you've built this being on fitness. It's in the name, right? So that is what I always tell people. Apex Way says, could I get a review, please? Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. You are added to the queue. So Kathy Fit, to give your channel kind of an overall grade, what I would say is you are above what I'm seeing. I'm seeing maybe more of a kind of confusion in what you've built your channel on and what you want your channel to be. So for that, I'm going to give it a B, a solid B. I think you got good branding. What could make it an A is just kind of improving the banner a little bit, making a little bit more. This is Africa. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Yes, you are added to the queue. Asking, can I get a review? So that is a solid B. Let Kathy know your grades in the comments down below. Again, all of that stuff helps make even better decisions, and it's stuff that matters. So He expected like a D. Okay, I mean, I can give you a D minus if it makes you feel better, Kathy. But the Apex way is now who we are. Immediately, I'm going to assume Apex Legends. I'm not sure if that was on purpose, but again, that's kind of the new gaming thing. Of course, Apex was around before Legends. Just based on the name, it could just be a lifestyle, so don't take that too personally. But what you do, why you do it, all that is still not necessarily who, what, when, where, and why isn't here. Like, what is the Apex way? Why should I live the Apex way? Why will the Apex way help me as a viewer? All those things matter. I do see you have 97,000 subscribers, so clearly you have an audience and you kind of know how to talk to them, but just take these things with what you will. He was Apex long before Legends came out. I'm assuming you mean came out. So yeah, Apex is dead now, says Ike. As we go here, welcome to my channel, The Apex Way. I'm Apex, and I show real, not just the good bits, gameplay from the survival games. I mainly play Ark Survival. Again, so many creators are guilty of this, hiding what they do in the about. I'd love to see it a little more here. PC specs, I think, make sense to be put here as well. Business inquiries, you have it here and here. This can show up in search because YouTube uses that. Since you're doing survival stuff, I'm going to check kind of what your channel tags are about as I go over here. You clearly have an idea of what you're about, the Apex way. So for that, it's one of those things where I take a look at Channelytics. So channel tags, I would just make sure you have the Apex way. I would go focus on more long tail descriptive ones. So like the odds of people finding the Apex way by typing in let or low, tutorial low, showcase low, design base, PvP, all of these. I might add these into kind of a long tail descriptive. So maybe Ark Survival Evolved PvP would be a better one, or Ark Survival Evolved design walkthrough. Like use Ark Survival Evolved and then add these one words, like do long tail descriptive keywords, right? So here we see rating Vio players. So I recognize you actually from our Discord. So from that, I see rating Vio players, hatching 72 gigas. Again, this kind of goes to, as someone who doesn't know it, I may be getting into it, so I can see the character a little better. Time for Tames. This is a thumbnail I like a lot. Our first raid. I like the thumbnails where it's like really clear to see what's going on here. Popular uploads. The main thing I would say for you is, since your channel is so large, you probably get searches just for the Apex way. I would put the Apex way recent uploads, the Apex way popular uploads, and then maybe new to the Apex way. Here are my favorite videos, because you're at a size where you can get away with doing stuff like that. And all of those, by doing the Apex way uploads, by making that custom playlist, gives people searching for you a way for your playlist to show up, and then you get them in a playlist, which causes more watch sessions. And again, you have a lot of playlists, but what I would say is, if the playlists, if you're using these default ones, make your own. And if you do have your own, maybe feature them higher. And I might actually tell you to put your playlist like this lower, because what I found is more people are going to probably click on these before they click on the other stuff. And then I see you do live streams. I would, if I see that, I would have never guessed based on your banner that you do live streams, because I wasn't told, right? And I would like to attend your live streams if I'm interested in the content, but I don't see it. So again, all of these things I need to see. And you've grown 3.7 thousand in the last 30 days. You clearly are on your way to 100,000 subscribers. Like, you're doing well. You have a Patreon. YouTube actually, in the Creator Insiders, I don't know if you have like a video dedicated to telling people to join you on YouTube. If you don't, I recommend doing that immediately, because I've seen people do it and then their YouTube membership has just skyrocketed. So again, all those things, just, you clearly know what you're doing. Like, you have audience, you have videos that have lots of views. If you want to focus on growth, I would maybe take a look at your most popular and try your best to find new ways to recreate those ideas in fun, different ways. So like the This Is My Base, Not Yours solo life, like this one did very well. Back to solo rating, a guide to becoming a better solo player. So a lot of your solo stuff for this is done pretty well. And again, you know your audience and you know what you enjoy creating. What I will say is, like, this is going to be probably what's going to do well for you. And all that stuff matters. And if you have TubeBuddy, I'm not sure if you do, and you create Playlists, right? Well, TubeBuddy has a playlist ordering feature, which helps so much, because then if you want to do like, you like all these videos, you can literally set your playlist to be sorted by which videos get you the most subscribers. So then you have a playlist featured by you. So you could call it like the Apex Way's favorite uploads. Then use that feature where you can know, hey, these get me conversions to subscribers. And then that's great for you. So again, you have a pretty solid channel. Like, it's clear you know what you're doing. Like, I'm seeing descriptions of playlists. I'm seeing a lot. Well, it's just I'm not seeing a lot in the banner. And even then, I can tell you know what you're doing. It's just you can fix that very easily. So for that, I'm going to give you an A-. And this could easily be a plus by just getting, and again, this is such a nitpicky thing. But still, you asked for a review, so I'll find where I don't see the most like progress. And again, get more descriptive channel tags. Maybe focus on some of your popular videos being a channel tag because they're relevant to your channel. All those things can really help you. The Apex Way, thank you so much for the super chat. And hopefully I was able to bring you value as well. I haven't seen you type, so maybe my chat is frozen. I don't know. But overall, I think you have a really good channel, and I hope to see, just that, maybe just a little more clarity there. Next person up is TIA, or This is Africa. So, as I transition, this is Africa. Well, I know the where. I don't know the who, I don't know the what, I don't know the why, I don't know all that other stuff, but I know just on this, it's based on Africa. So based on this, and this is me not knowing this channel at all, my natural assumption is this is going to teach me how to navigate Africa, anything I need to know about Africa, its beauty, its people, its cultures, all that I'm guessing is from here. Because again, I've never seen the channel. So that's where I'm going to say for this. So kind of looking here, beauty in 4C interview, African YouTuber, interview African YouTuber. So it seems like you're doing a lot of African YouTuber interviews as of recently. And that would definitely fit This is Africa. So even if you put all things Africa, the Apex West says, thanks, buddy. I'll defo take your advice. Well, thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you so much for stopping by. And of course, again, just changing that banner slightly to help new people, because again, you have an established audience. Help the newer people. Like, for me, no matter the size, if I feel like I'm being spoken to directly, that means a lot. And as we learned from TubeBuddy, saying you instead of you guys or everyone actually has a big impact on subscriber ratio. We had a whole study on that. So I'm seeing created playlist. So quick tech tips, live streams. I'm seeing Ethiopia. I'm a little confused because all I see are your default uploads, your popular uploads, but I don't know what the channel is about. Maybe it's in the about. It might be hidden. This is Africa TIA. Is here to help educate everything about Africa with top 10 lists, documentary shorts, music, entertainment, tech, politics, business. Again, all of this is great, but it's not here. So easy fix. Easy fix for this banner. Literally raise this up, put more information here, and if you have like a hashtag you use, maybe put it on your banner so people know, like, if they want to reach me, hashtag This is Africa. It's perfect. Simple, easy. Fun Size Nomad says you is better than y'all. Wow. Well, here's the thing. When I watch YouTube videos, and when most people watch YouTube videos, it's one person. I rarely watch YouTube with other people. Maybe my girlfriend, her brother, or a friend, but it's most of the time it's a singular person alone. So if you're saying you all, it's not as personal as thank you, Fun Size Nomad, for watching. Thank you, Harry Guy Sketches. Thank you, 30 Day Reviews. Thank you, The Apex Way. Thank you, This is Africa. Thank you, Kate's Adventures. Thank you, Matt Guzman. Thank you, Ike. Thank you, Brave Star. Everyone is, when I say more specifically, immediately you register. If someone goes, hey, you don't know it's you, but they go, hey, Fun Size Nomad, immediately grab your attention. Of course, your real name, but I don't know your real name, so take that with what you will. But This is Africa. I just want to see more information here. Beanie says, I do see that, but do people like feeling part of a community? You can make people feel like they're a part of a community by having a great example is saying, like Nick Nimmin, obviously you know who he is. He goes Nimminati. So if you're a part of the Nimminati, he says, I'm going to teach you, but he goes, and if you'd like to join the Nimminati, he mentions it later in the video. He lets that individual know they can become a part of a community, but he doesn't necessarily address the community first and foremost. On TubeBuddy, it's a little bit different. We say hello TubeBuddies because most TubeBuddy users can identify themselves as a TubeBuddy user, as a TubeBuddy, so it's kind of the reasoning for that. And we found that actually kind of works well for our retention. When I said you on there, it didn't work as well. Hello, the Cookie Couture channel. Great to see you. Seeing a lot of familiar faces. But back to This Is Africa. I do get the idea of the channel looking more into the about. I want to see these created playlists featured more heavily on the channel, right? Like maybe more how-tos, like where to go or how to navigate, how to navigate Tanzania, or where to go in Tanzania, why you should go to Tanzania, all the who, what, when, where, and why that's missing in your banner can be made all about each of these different locations. If you want to show This Is Africa, you are literally showing a country like this is so searchable. So all of the content you can do is super searchable. So if I sound passionate, like you have a beautiful idea, you have a country that not a lot of people know about, which is a shame. So you can literally talk about this. And for you, someone, if you want to go for a broader appeal, then here's an idea. What most people don't know about Africa. What movies get wrong about Africa. This is Africa, where I'm going to show you what Africa is about. Like, this is such a great channel name, such a great channel idea. So, like, please, like, a great example. What Black Panther gets right about Africa. What Black Panther got wrong about Africa. What Wakanda would actually be like in Africa. Things like that. Things that are a little bit more broad, but are still about Africa. And it's like, hey, if you like seeing what I thought about Africa, what I thought Black Panther's Africa represented, why don't you see Real Africa? This is Africa, and subscribe to us to see what the real Africa is like. And again, immediately you can get people on who care or want to learn more about Africa, and like just doing a little bit of research, right? Let's go to Keyword Explorer. So, things to do in Africa. Things to do in like all of these cities. There's 9.2 thousand searches a month, 179 million. So like maybe what to do in Kenya, Africa. Like that might be a better playlist, and maybe you can come up with videos. Again, searches per month will kind of dictate what you do, but there's a lot you could do here. The Cookie Couture says, you are my TubeBuddy. Thanks for all you share to all of us. Always thankful to find TubeBuddy, and still so much I need to learn. Can I use this review on my channel? Sure. I don't know how you'll use it. Hopefully you're not like, he's an idiot. But of course, feel free. So with that said, you have such great potential for this channel. So please use TubeBuddy. Look up some things people want to know about Africa. Again, your channel name is This Is Africa. Show them the truth about Africa. Show people why they want to go there, because this is a great idea. And I like the TIA. Maybe just, I don't know. Here's an idea. Maybe behind TIA, you actually have the outline of Africa. And maybe you put that same outline up here. I love the look of this. If you want a super topical video, you can make that. Is coming up. What the Lion King does, or inspirations the Lion King, real life African, or something like that. There's a way you can, I'm trying to think of a good title. Basically, the Lion King's coming out. It's based in Africa. What the Lion King gets right about Africa. What the Lion King got wrong about Africa. Again, super easy, super topical. Like, create this within the week. It comes out in July. Like, this is good. Like, this is called tentpole. It's like getting prepared for something that's going to happen. I would like, what cultures the Lion King gets from Africa. Like, all of this stuff is just like, there's so much there. The searches per month indicates that there is a live traffic on So 3D Plastic Fantasy, the searches per month is showing you from the data we collected too, buddy, how many searches are per that keyword per month. As we get, not every keyword may have searches per month. The way it's being worked on at the moment is as more people use the feature, more data is given to it, so we can get more search results for different terms. It's because we don't, like, if one person looks up a very obscure term, we may not have data for it, but if like 18,000 people all look up wanting to know how many searches per month that term has, we're more likely to have it. Beanie Draw says, yeah, that would be smashing. So again, this is Africa. You have this is such a beautiful channel name. And yeah, you don't even have to use movies. Like, you can, maybe if TV shows go to Africa, and then like you're using those to get like a broad audience, but then you're getting people in so you can talk about the Africa you know and love. And even through those like ideas like Black Panther or The Lion King or even other movies that go to Africa, you're using what people know to teach them what they don't and show them the beauty of Africa. So you can show them, no, that's the movie's representation. What we're here to do, this is Africa. For your channel, there's so much potential. For that, I'm going to give your channel, again, I'm seeing some stuff. I'm probably going to give it a C+. I want to just see a little bit more. There's so much potential for this. So hopefully we can see more from you. I just love the channel name. I love the idea. Hopefully we see more. This is Africa says great ideas I did not think of. I'm happy to help in any way I can, and thank you for the super chat. So with that, we got about 4 minutes. So last call for channel reviews. So if you would like a channel review, let me know now or forever hold your peace, and I'll add everyone in the queue. I may go a little bit faster on the Paul Peck. Thank you, Paul Peck, for the super chat. $10. Paul Peck says, how important is a channel's category? I'm seeing how-to type channels killing it in the people and blogs category, though. Thoughts on this, Andrew Can? P.S. I'm the how-to channel category. So YouTube uses categories. I think the problem with the categories YouTube has is it hasn't evolved over time. You might count yourself as DIY, which I would say makes sense. My main thing I would tell you, Paul, is how-to. I'm seeing how-to channels killing in the people and blogs. That could also be considered misleading, because at a certain point, YouTube says if you know and you're doing something that you think is going to gain you, you could arguably be misleading. So I would say avoid being misleading and stick to how-to, because you also have to remember, would being seen in a category you technically aren't, like if you show up there, like YouTube serves you there, even though you displayed yourself as how-to, you're fine, because then YouTube's just recommending you. But if you are trying to game the system in that way, YouTube could easily say you're trying to abuse or mislead. So I'd be very cautious. Again, I haven't seen, out of all the things, I'd say channel categories YouTube probably looks at the least from what I've seen in the data I've worked with. I'd say it's probably more helpful for larger channels, because once YouTube kind of knows what your channel is about, they kind of already know where to put it. But hopefully that answers your question. My best thing to say to you is don't make YouTube think you're trying to mislead them. So that would be my best one. Did you review my Godzilla SEO, or could you, says Beanie Draws? Sure. And since Beanie's the only one I've seen on it, Beanie, here we go. And Paul, of course, if you'd like a channel review, let me know. Paul, you always come through, and I do appreciate it. All right. Mr. Beanie Draws. Godzilla. I know I've watched this on my other channel. Beanie. Beanie. Where are your cards, young man? There's no info cards. Beanie, where is your pin? Beanie. I think you may have shared this to Twitter. I don't think I actually have my Twitter linked. Or maybe you didn't. Maybe you got so caught up you forgot to share it. We're going to find out together, folks. Beanie, what the heck? Beanie. I would say... All right, Beanie, first, before we get to the SEO, the first thing that glares out to me, Beanie, is that 0 of 20 or suggested, meaning that YouTube's having a hard time knowing what to suggest near your content. So if this isn't in a playlist, or if you don't have this in one, maybe for you, you could make a playlist for like redesigning known monster movie films or something like that. Something where you can put this in a playlist, a series playlist, so YouTube can start recommending it amongst itself. So looking here, Godzilla Procreate, redesigning Godzilla. This is probably going to be your most searchable one if I were to take an educated guess. Number of videos and search results is actually pretty low on this, so you show up. So my thing is, it's pretty low on this. The search volume is pretty poor on this though too, right? So like, yeah, you dominate. Drawing a Godzilla hybrid might be a little better, of course. This one has a little more, but it's still pretty poor in search. The thing I'm seeing here, right, is Godzilla speed drawing. That's fair. Jurassic World versus Godzilla, this is too broad. Is this just a speed drawing, or is this a how-to? That's the thing I would say to you, Beanie. I think it's a beautiful drawing, but it's kind of clear that if I were to take a look at your audience, that you hit between the notification squad. And Beanie says, yeah, my videos aren't very broadly searched. What I would say is speed drawing of the new Godzilla. I'm not sure if that is true. Has 151K. It's got fair, which is better than what I've seen, or new Godzilla, or Godzilla 2019 speed drawing might have been, I'm not even sure, you said it was 2014. So, but if I were to recommend this, but even then there's only like 31K. Again, for you've kind of hit the audience of this, and you've hit your core audience. Beanie, your thing is, you know your audience so well, for you to grow is kind of difficult, because maybe more how-tos would be better for you, Beanie, if you're really focused on drawing. Like, this is a beautiful drawing. It's just, you know your audience so well, you kind of struggle there. The problem is, it's not actually the Godzilla design. I just invented it. Okay. If you just invented it, what I would say is, for you, Beanie, an easy one you could do, since you just did Godzilla, if you ever want to do movies, you need to find like searchable things around the movie, right? So Godzilla speed drawing, this is the thing that I would say you probably have the most search for. I would have called this, you know, based like redesigning Godzilla speed drawing, or creating my own Godzilla may not have the search, but it's, again, trying to find the answer to a searchable question. Actually, if you did create, if this is you creating your own Godzilla, let me transition back here because I think I'm on my face. Here we are. So looking here, like, creating my own Godzilla is actually not bad. It's actually to the middle here. Competition's kind of there. Optimization strength is very low. I mean, number of results. Making an original, and maybe like even here, an original kaiju, maybe that has more search, right? I'm not sure. We're just seeing what's here. It has less search, so there we go. We know maybe don't go for that. Again, Beanie, it's like creating your own version of something is probably going to be more searchable, right? So that's where you got to find. So Godzilla mashup, maybe that was a suggestion by 3D Plastic Fantasy. So Godzilla mashup, a little more. The search is super low though. And again, you're competing with just broad stuff of mashups here. But this is something like even here, like drawing with, like, because YouTube knows that if people are looking for drawing and they're like creating my own, they'll think drawing probably, or 3D or something like that. So that's why Draw with Jazza shows up. Again, you're finding unique ways for you to stand out. So Beanie, the SEO is not bad, but you kind of knew going in that it was going to be a hard battle to win. So Beanie, that's all I really can say there. It's, again, finding those things. It's your job, if you're going to create like your own version of Godzilla, to find ways people are looking for it. Not make a piece of content and hope people find it. Unless you can show up in that suggested. But that suggested can be the white whale for some people, and some people they can do it without thinking. And it's one of those things you can't teach it because it changes so frequently. I can teach you search any day of the week, but suggested, that takes a little more nuance. So Beanie, I hope that's able to help in some capacity. You know, there's a lot to go. But I hope you were able to get some benefit out of this. Thank you, everyone who left a super chat. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you now know a little bit better the YouTube Advertiser Friendly guidelines, and you kind of know what you do more on your channel. Remember, I'm Andrew Can, and if I can, you can too. Bye.